Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? It's your boy B. We're continuing to go over artists that are bringing positive change to our community. And man, I've fallen in love with Tobe Nwigwe's music and just their whole camp, right? Him, Nell, Fat, what they bring to the table, and just the artistry. So I'm going through their catalog. This is from a playlist called the Four Originals on the Tobe Nwigwe channel. This is one called This For You. I don't know anything about it. It looked like it premiered back in 2019. Yo, we're going to check it out together. We're going to do an intellectual breakdown and then just dive into the lyrics, what they mean to us, and just kind of unpack what's going on here. So, yo, let's get right into it here. This is the shorty with the grill, huh?
This for you. This for you. My head is heavy. My love is wild. Now keep it cool and get on the fire. I'm from the jungle. I'm up in this hill.
Bro, listen to how hard that beat is, right? That dum dum. Right? Look at this. What is on there? It looks like they got the what's on her head? Is it just a veil of some sort? Man, they get wild with it. I love it.
My love is wild. Now keep it cool and get on the fire. I'm from the jungle. I'm up in this hill.
You know, and a lot of times, a lot of people hear the jungle and they're like, man, this cat grew up the jungle boy, right? A lot of people refer to the jungle, too, as the concrete jungle. It's more of an urban jungle, like an inner city. A lot of people consider that the zoo as well, right? But, yo, let's run it back.
If you from where I'm from, then this for you. If you from where I'm from, then this for you.
Bro, look at the visual there, right? Just it's beautiful. And shout out, I heard in the comments that they call these chicks the Black Angels. Man, what they do is incredible. I'd love to see a video just thanking them for what they do, or maybe some visuals that are. It kind of reminds me of that Kanye, that ding, ding, and the chick looks like an ostrich or something, or a peacock, right? She's an animal. She's got these huge talons. It kind of reminds me of a visual like that from Runaway. Yeah, from Kanye West. But yo, look at, she's got the locks. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And it looks like they're either braiding her up or they're holding straw. But yo, just sick. And does she have the grill too? Run it back a little.
If you from where I'm from, then this for you. If you from where I'm from,
You old musty mouth crustacean. Get your place in line so I can crack back and slap the sound out your face with lines. Harder than crack cocaine, no lane.
He said, yo, get in your place, only so I can come back and slap the hell out your face. Where's he at here? Run it back. I was looking for it. He said, you old musty mouth crustacean. Yo, I love the roast, right? I'm here for it. But it's funny because he could be, there's a play on words here. He could be saying that he's crusty, like, you old musty mouth, crusty lip ass motherfucker. You right? It look like you been eating powdered donuts, right? Oh, ashy lip ass. Or he could be saying like it's actually a type of animal, right? A crustacean. Normally you think of like a crab, a lobster, or shrimp. That's its technical meaning, I guess.
if you from where I'm from,
You old musty mouth crustacean. Get your place in line so I can crack back and slap the sound out your face with lines. Harder than crack cocaine, no lane could ever make me tap dance and chuck it.
Crack cocaine, for those, I'm sure most of you, if you're on this channel, you know what it is, but let me give you a quick breakdown. It's important to recognize that crack cocaine, how severely it impacted our inner city neighborhoods for people of color. But I think it's also important to realize you can do your own research on this, but there's a lot of evidence that the CIA put crack cocaine in inner city neighborhoods in the 80s. That's our actual government. Think about that. Our actual government put these drugs into our communities. Why would they do that, right? They were trying to fund other operations, and that's how they saw fit. So when people are hesitant to take a vaccine, when people are hesitant, you got to think all of this comes into play, right? The government hasn't always been trustworthy. It hasn't always been on our side. But another thing, and we'll get right back into the music, but another thing that's important to realize is crack cocaine versus cocaine. You normally think of crack, you think of a crackhead, right? You think of the inner city, then you think of somebody, you know, right? No. Well, yeah, that's exactly what happens. But cocaine is something where it's disproportionately affecting our inner city areas, our people of color, right? And you might say, why? Well, when you look at sentencing, when someone has crack cocaine versus when someone has cocaine, and it's typically a white person versus a black person, the way that they're sentenced is different. And this all goes back to, in 1986, there was basically minimums. It's a federal mandatory minimum for different crack cocaine offenses. And now, the average federal drug offense for African Americans, it was previously 11 times higher than for whites. Now, or 4 years after this act, the average federal drug sentence for African Americans was actually 49% higher. So think about that. These are ways that the crack epidemic, you always think of the crackheads that lost their life, but this is also responsible for a lot of the fathers that got pulled out of our homes, right? A lot of the fathers that are missing from the community, all the possibly community leaders at this point when they're OGs, right? So I just wanted to reference that when they talk about the crack epidemic, there's so much more that went with that than just crackheads losing their life in the drug game.
You old musty mouth crustacean. Get your place in line so I can crack back and slap the sound out your face with lines. Harder than crack, cocaine, no lane could ever make me tap dance and shuck and jive like I'm Bojangles. I got more angles than Rubik's Cube.
He said, you know, and he said, yo, I can never chuck and jive, right? Chuck and jive, and he said Bojangles. It was an actual person. He's basically saying the buffoonery, right? You can't pay me to do this silly stuff and make a fool out of myself, or mock being black, or even control my creative freedom. I won't do it, right?
Tap dance and shuck and jive like I'm Bojangles. I got more angles than Rubik's Cube. I've learned that life to be.
I got more angles than a Rubik's Cube. Think of a Rubik's Cube, right? And it's not just a square, but it's like a three-dimensional square, and each corner is a 90-degree angle, right? It's a right angle. But so is all of the inner squares, right? So 9 squares on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 times 9, that's 54. Think about all of the angles, though, of each of those squares. Just sick with it. It makes you think. Anybody that can make you think about something. We're over here doing mathematics, right? So it's just excellent lyrics.
More angles than Rubik's Cube. I've learned that life to be weary of folk who fool with you only because they can see the anointing drip from your cuticles on everything you do, and they trying to escape the cubicle.
Yeah, is that the cubicle of your own life, right? What is a cubicle? A cubicle, when you work in an office setting, are the walls that are around you. They surround your desk, so you're isolated from those around you. And you could say it's for multiple reasons. Some people use it for the sound, right? Bouncing sound off if you're answering calls in a call center. You can prevent hearing all the noise. But some would argue that it's you feeling like you have an office, right? You have a space, you have walls to hang up different things and pictures. But being trapped in a cubicle is no way to go out. I couldn't do it. I got a top job with the university, and they gave me a stack of papers, and I was part of this lead input management team working for a university, and they would pay for higher education or to continue my education, but you're basically working on paperwork in the position that I was in. And when you're done, you get big old stacks of paperwork. You can't move fast enough or ever complete it, right? And it's one of those jobs that you feel safe and secure. You work 9 to 5, you take your lunch, you drive home. You have a nice middle-class life, I don't want that, right? And a lot of youngsters don't want that either. That's why the job market is the way it is. And we're changing the way that we earn, right? When I realized that I could earn money on my own and build a business on my own, I stopped relying on other people to create something that fit what I wanted. I just made that myself. And that, yo, you can too. And that's what he's putting out there. Like, yo, you over here hating on me because I'm doing me. Maybe if you did you and you were happier about who you were, you wouldn't be hating.
With you only because they can see the anointing drip from your cuticles on everything you do, and they trying to escape the cubicle in their own life. I got my own wife and earn my own stripes. Angels see me in the rice.
I always use that, right? Whenever I'm talking with young bucks in the hood and they're over there giving me I'm like, yo, you gonna fuck around and find out. I earned my stripes, right? I was born in 1982, bro. I done seen things that you can't even imagine. Growing up in the 90s in Chicago and 2000s and crime and inner city works. And I got myself out of it, though. But that doesn't mean that, yo, you lift up my sleeve, you can see my stripes, right? I earned my stripes, and you'll fuck around and find out. And like what Tobe's saying, like, yo, I'm a man of this music, and I'm getting my money, and I'm a family man. Fuck around and find out how I got my stripes, bro.
On everything you do, and they trying to escape the cubicle in their own life. I got my own wife and earn my own stripes. Angels see me and throw rice. In celebration of me evading temptations and concentrating on the manifestation that's in Revelation.
Yo, I love how he just does not move away from what he believes in, right? He continues referencing the Bible and it's like, yo, if you don't like it, then keep on scrolling, bro. This is who I am. And man, I keep referencing my favorite line from him is in 5-5 where he says, yo, if you book me for a show and I can't bring my wife or my kids, I'm leaving. Like, this is who I am. You take it or leave it. Yo.
Celebration of me evading temptations and concentrating on the manifestation that's in Revelations. If you don't get that, then you hella basic. But it's all gravy. We all need it.
He said, yo, if you don't get it, right, I'm here to help break down the bars, right? I'm an interpreter for some. He said, yo, if you don't get it, you just hella basic. That's such an insult, man. I'm a student of the roast, bro. I love talking some shit. And sometimes you could talk about someone's clothes. You could talk about sometimes there's nothing harder than just saying, bro, you simple as hell, right? You basic motherfucker. You, wouldn't get it if I explained an ass motherfucker, right? And sometimes that just hits harder because I get a little chuckle when I get home. Like, you stupid motherfucker. I see you hate it with your hating ass.
If you don't get that, then you hella basic. But it's all gravy. We all need a facelift. To get them wrinkles out the window to our spirit. My kinfolk blow endo to make our voice sound more coherent.
He said, yo, we blow endo, right? We blow that green because we feel like we're closer to God. The voice becomes more coherent, right? We can understand more, or we can kind of silence everything else when we smoke. And that's why we do it.
Kinfolk blow endo to make our voice sound more coherent. But don't knock him, I pray he get prophetic word. Been at the feet of God so long, I give him pedicures.
He said, yo, I'm at the feet of God, right? I know when I can worship my master. And if you've ever seen anyone that's really in tune with their religion, they will bow down, right? They will go down to their knees and praise God. He said, yo, I've been down here so long, I'm giving this brother pedicures, bro. I got his feet looking on point, right?
Been at the feet of God so long, I give him pedicures. I need every penny like creditors headed for the door of every death of for all these years I got slept on and kept on. Creating classics like...
I don't think I need to break that, right? If you're down from an inner city community, right? Or if you're a person, most people know what a creditor is, right? It's normally someone that purchases debt. Or a creditor, it could be even a credit card company, right? They're your creditor as well. But normally when that credit card debt that you owe gets sold to another company, it goes to a collection company. And those people will blow you up, right? They purchase that debt for pennies on the dollar, nickels on the dollar, and then they try to negotiate that debt with you. There's actually a lot of law. A lot of people argue, did you sign any paperwork owning that debt? Can that company collect? The original company could, and after they sold that, there's different plays on that, and there's definitely ways to get out of that. We might do a video on that in the future because I've actually helped people buy homes. I have a beautiful home myself. I have an investment property as well. But I put my guys on, right? I work with them and tell them, yo, there's different things that you can do for tax credits. There's different things that you can do that make it much easier to buy a home. And if you don't know what those things are, I could definitely work with you, and we can help boost your credit up and get it to a point that you can finance a home. And then I can show you programs that can help you with the deposit and get into things that make it financially attractive to you, right? But that's a way to create generational wealth, right? That's what's missing in our communities. Now we want to fight for blocks that we don't own, right? It's owning something, owning your property, owning your yard, fencing it in, protecting your family that's inside, not the block that doesn't love you. Come on now.
Just hate for the door of every death of all these years I got slept on and kept on. Creating classics like Van Gogh, Mantle, should have on them my EP and candles. On demons, they treat me like the Django.
Damn.
When I give them more flavor.
He's even got the right there, the Django. It's where, if you would imagine someone being whipped, right? With that, what is that? That Tobe, what is it? Say my name, right? And he's whipping him. The dude is really close to the camera, so you can see his face. You can see everything that's going on. I just think it's. I don't know if a lot of people would catch that, but it's in the imagery as well, and his position in the camera.
Candles can't go. On demons, they treat me like the Django. When I give them more flavor than a bit of cilantro. Ooh. I spit.
And it's actually cilantro, right? For those of us that have, I know enough Spanish people, cilantro is just what you might see in tacos and whatnot. For those that don't know, cilantro is actually really easy to grow in your own yard. And you can grow it as easy as you can do mint. And it's really good with other foods.
For more flavor than a bit of cilantro. Ooh, I spit juice like the guava. And watch your eye like my pin more fire than lava.
My hair is laughing. My nose is warm. My teeth are cold. And your home is dry. I'm from the jungle. Who am I? If you're from where I'm from, then it's real.
You know, one thing I noticed, I was just thinking in my head, like, yo, man, this would be sick to have a nice feature and someone just come and snap on the beat. And you don't really hear that a lot from Tobe. I know he's a relatively newer artist, but could you imagine something with like Black Thought or Joyner Lucas or J. Cole? And I know that might not be the way that he wants to go, but he seems to be open to being like a commercialized success, but still standing tall for what he believes in. I just think it would be really interesting. Like some of this work would just be sick with someone like Black Thought or Ciroc, right? Someone that's still intellectual and can ride the beat, but just that can switch it up a bit. You just don't hear that as much from him. It's normally Fat, right? Or Nell or someone from his camp.
If you're from where I'm from, then it's real. If you're from where I'm from, then it's real. If you're from where I'm from.
And the way I interpret it too is, I might not be from Elif, Texas. I might not be from Houston or even the metro area. But when he says, like even in Fi-Fi, where he says, if you black, right? Like from here, if he says, if you're from where I'm from, the way I interpret that is like, if you're from the streets, right? If you're from the hood, if you're from some place where life was hard and things weren't easy, I don't think it matters what the street name is or your zip code. But we're from the same place. We might not be, but we are, right? There's a fraternal brotherhood almost amongst us because we all realize we all can talk the same talk, walk the same walk, and we know what's going on. Like, peep game, and we know what that means, right?
If you're from where I'm from, this is for you. This is for you. This is
That's in the earth due to a coward demon. Don't call me Tobe, no
I didn't know I expect another verse. Why did
I spit a verse for every verse that's in the earth due to a coward demon.
Ooh, a hearse, right, is where how you move a body, how you move a coffin from the funeral home to burial, right? So that's what a hearse is. He said, yo, I spit every verse for every hearse that is out there, basically because somebody was killed, right? He's saying a demon, I believe.
I spit a verse for every verse that's in the earth due to a coward demon. Don't call me Tobe no more. Call me Tobe Heeman. I'm so biggest on the track with my soul is speaking to those.
Don't call me Toby or Toby Bryant no more, right? I'm bigger than that.
Call me Tobe Heeman. I'm so biggest on the track with my soul is speaking to those that's grieving all forms of hell. They come to those who be in the ghetto, the hood, the slums, where they take metal.
Yo, this is what I was just saying, right? Like, yo, we're from the same hood, but we're not talking about the same zip code, right? We can be in a hood. We're trapped in different parts of the world, right? We're just, we all share something common.
Those who be in the ghetto, the hood, the slums, where they take metal, hit jugs for crumbs. Because the value of a human life ain't high, can't cry, because where I'm from subsequently taint my view.
Yo, I have to agree with that, right? Like, I'm from Chicago. This is somewhere there was 1,000 bodies last year. And that's high, right? But the value of life is not the same, right? People are getting killed because someone called them gay on Twitter, right? Or someone stole someone's girl. You're fighting over a chick and you're really willing to go to jail for the rest of your life? Where I come from, you're a lame, right? That's stupid. Let's stop glorifying these dudes that are really willing to die for anything. Yo, you really want to fight? Join the military, right? You really want to fight? Fight for your hood. Fight for equal rights. Start a new Black Panthers party, right? Join the civil rights movement of today. But don't go killing somebody. If you're going to kill somebody and you're destined to make a name for yourself, why don't you kill someone that's hurting your people, right? Why would you kill someone that looks like you and is in the same struggle as you are? Come on now.
What be normal and what ain't. Hell, I'm from where you kept it cordial or got slain. Grew up around folk who ain't had morals or restraint and felt immortal because they could make a fortune off pain.
Felt immortal because they can make a fortune off Cain, right? So he could be playing off Cain and Abel, right? Felt immortal because they also making all this dough in the streets with cocaine too, right? If you're making thousands of dollars per day, why would you want to leave and get a desk job? Why would you want to live a normal life? It's called calculated risk, right? I'm willing to take this much risk because the reward is so high.
Life leave you dumber than epidurals. And pray my dog, you kept it cordial or got slain. Grew up around folk who ain't had morals or restraint and felt immortal because they could make a fortune off pain. For that life leave you dumber than epidurals. And pray my dog be on white.
Epidural is what a woman gets when she's giving birth, right? It numbs her from the waist down, and it makes it easier to have a baby. But he's saying he's numbing you like an epidural.
Be normal and what ain't. Hell, I'm from where you kept it cordial or got slain. Grew up around folk who ain't had morals or restraint and felt immortal because they could make a fortune off pain. For that life leave you dumber than epidurals. And pray my dog be on white. Word of Virgil.
My hair is laughing. My nose is well.
Is he talking about Virgil, the one that just died, right? Virgil was an Abloh. He was a high-end designer, right? And he had those lines that were off-white, creamy, very similar to like what Kanye's doing now with the Yeezy line.
My nose is well. My teeth are cold. And you want to try. I'm from the jungle.
Look how badass that picture looks.
If you're from where I'm from, you miss New York. If you're from where I'm from.
Yo, that's just sick. The visual there at the end, that's just such an awesome picture. Man, I would actually be really interested. I'm not really big on reality shows, but I would be really interested in some behind the scenes footage of what goes on behind closed doors with the choreography, with the outfits, Now, think about how much practice goes into the Black Angels performing at the level that they do. Even with Fat and Toby dancing, a lot of times they're coordinated, right? Nella's as well. And that's just, I'm sure it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. Really looking forward to going over new work, anything that comes from this camp. Yo, if you're a fan, we're going to be going over Tobe Nwigwe's catalog and exploring any new work that comes out. If you're a fan, make sure to subscribe, show love to the channel. We're trying to grow our channel as well. We're relatively new. We started right at the start of the year, and we're already around 400 subscribers. So it's going great, but obviously there's a lot more Tobe Nwigwe fans in the world. So, I'd love it if you guys could support as well.